Howdy from the Horseshoe, a very hot Horseshoe. This is notebook number 3. Ohio State is a winner, 49-14 over Marshall. Interviews wrapping up here. We've got Emeka Egbuka right to my left. Will Howard is at the podium. We're going to try and grab Emeka as he heads to the bus here, as he had his biggest game of the year. Somebody predicted that out there. But anyway, welcome in. Ohio State 3-0. Mike Bassford over here going to lead Emeka out. We're just going to ask him a couple questions. Is he going to go down here or?
Probably not.
No. Okay. We're going to sneak a little walk and talk. What was the best stat of the day from Mike Bassford?
Well, we had 3 plays of over 50 yards.
Okay.
So I'd love to know the last time that's happened. I don't know.
You haven't figured that out
So
yet.
now the task is to figure it out.
That's your research for the day.
That's the research project.
Okay. I love that.
So 57 offensive plays and almost 600 yards. So that's a lot of explosiveness.
Seems pretty good. You were quick on the 3rd longest rushing touchdown in Ohio State history.
86 yards. So you will probably remember one of the other 86-yarders, J.T. Barrett in the snow at Minnesota.
The longest, slowest
He's also
quarterback rushing touchdown.
Yes, the play is still going. Yes, 10 years by a number of seconds.
Yeah.
Longest was literally and figuratively.
Yeah. You can't forget it because it is still going. So
Yes.
was it hot enough for you when you went down to the field?
It felt like it was 150 degrees down there.
I think it was.
Jenny Taft, I believe, had a report that it was over 140.
Okay.
Field level temperature.
Love it.
So, but next week in East Lansing, I just have a hunch. Not going to be this one.
Probably going to be a blizzard. That's the way it tends to work there.
We'll take it.
Okay. Perfect. Love that. All right. We're going to walk now with Mr. Touchdown, Mr. 100 yards. Go ahead. Okay.
Maybe like 3rd and 10 is probably the longest we had. So it keeps you on schedule, and when you present a balanced attack.
Mech, we haven't seen you in the post-game room for a while.
I've just been sneaking out of here.
You trying to a hurry?
They grabbed me earlier, yeah.
All right. They asked you a bunch of so we can go with you all the way down there. You got a bunch of questions just about, I think, how it felt to have an explosive game again. And I know that you've made this point a bunch. It's not about your individual numbers, but Berm said to me on your touchdown, he said, I don't think I've ever seen Emeka run any faster than that. Did that feel different? Do you feel physically at another level than you've been in the last couple of years? I know the injuries are part of that.
Nah, I felt slow on that play.
You felt slow on that play?
Yeah, I did. I'm just with the amount of workouts that we do, you can tell when your body is running fast. And that did not feel like one of those moments, but obviously it was a great block, so I probably could have jogged into the end zone with the blocks that I had. So.
Okay, well, I guess if that's the case, I have to take your word for it.
Faster than you've ever.
Berm said faster than ever. He's still standing by it. Can you do more than that then?
Yeah, I'm faster than that.
All right. The stuff that you got to do today with Chip Kelly, with some of the misdirection, I think we saw a bit of that in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking for the playbook, but how much more is there for this offense to still get to in the weeks ahead?
Yeah, we're always installing new plays, and a lot of them, might not be up for every single game, but we have them in our inventory. We just pocket them for, maybe a rainy day or something like that. But Coach Kelly has a very big offensive mind, and he's always coming up with new schemes and different ways to get guys the ball. But his main philosophy is it's players, not plays. So you can drop all these plays to do, but if you don't have the correct players. But one thing about Ohio State is that we do have the players. So with his mind combined with our talent, you just got to combine the work and discipline with that, and then you'll be successful.
All right, go to the bus. Thanks for stopping, Emeka.
Appreciate you guys.
Emeka Egbuka there. You can go into the notebook now. It's TV's Adam King. What?
My favorite
Oh, hello.
part. My grandfather said to me one day,
Uh-huh.
it might have been 2 weeks ago after last game, he goes,
And you're talking about Dom Taveri, right?
Yes, Dom. No, he goes, I saw you on Austin Ward's post-game video.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what are you doing watching Austin Ward's post-game video?
Uh-huh.
No, I'm kidding.
It's a fair question.
It's my favorite part of every post. Although you guys came from this way this time. You're getting smart.
We're making some moves now.
Yes, I like it.
CJ Barnett was sitting at the bottom of the stairs, and I'm lucky to have survived in one piece.
CJ's a good guy. He knows.
He does know. Who was your player of the game? We'll get to that, Adam. I haven't opened it yet.
Okay.
Who was your player of the game?
My player of the game. It's the guy right there. Quinshon.
Talking to your grandfather.
Talk to my grandfather. Yes, Quinshon has proven to me that anytime he gets the ball, something magical can happen. I also love Seth McLaughlin.
Yeah.
I think that man needs more respect. Put some respect on the center's name.
Okay.
There you go.
We will.
Hey,
I didn't feel like we weren't. Thank you for your time.
I was tired of Austin Moore's disrespect, honestly, and Bernie's.
It's a great point. Hey, look at this. It's Donato's Pizza again, and smoothies. The smoothies are definitely getting attacked this week because it was Ohio State heading to the bus. You're not going to believe this. I lost my pen, so I couldn't take a bunch of notes in the post-game press conference there as much as I might have wanted to. I'm sorry. I got you ambushed again. One more. All right. No, you're good. Get out of here. Oh, Mek's going to go sign some autographs too. A man of the people. Dom's getting Quinshon's phone number. Maybe we could ask him a question real quick as he gets out of here. Slow start. Just grabbing a bunch of interviews for the start of the notebook. It's a little bit different. Cue. Nope. We'll switch. We'll go to another Quinn. Quinn, I was told that the coach's penalty was on you.
That's right.
I mean, I'm not going to say who told me that. A member of the Day family said,
That's true.
said, got to keep the coach. I'm sorry you're eating.
Yeah.
Farm can turn the camera another way.
That's true.
What's your job there?
I know. Do your job.
What do you have to do? Do you have to pull him back? Get him on a leash or what?
Read the room.
Okay.
Let him be.
Okay.
Let him be.
Well, I had, that's the most important thing that happened today. Had to get Quinn Temple on the record for that. The get back coach. All right. Quinshon's going sausage and pepperoni. So put that down. Nope, he's all yours. We're going to head out of here. Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. All right. It's still very hot. And I haven't talked anything about the game other than the score, which is 49-14. Thanks to everybody who gave us a couple minutes of time on the way down here. The day started. Ohio State's status report comes out at 9 o'clock. Got a word overnight that Tyleik Williams was not going to play in this game. He was in a jersey and shorts. I didn't see any sign of a limp. He didn't have a cast on anywhere. I don't have any insight on what is hurting for him or how long he's going to be out. Ryan Day said after the game it was day to day, and that he wasn't going to have didn't know when he would have another update on that. I think that is, for a game like this, and if we're nitpicking and looking at the way the Buckeyes played, where if you want to have seen more, that conversation would start on defense. And I think that there was clearly a drop-off at defensive tackle once Tyleik Williams was ruled out here. Hero Canoe got the start. Caden McDonald, Jason Moore, they all played for Ohio State in this game. Tywan Malone. There were some bright spots for them. There were some times where Ohio State was not able to collapse the pocket. They were not able to get much push against the run game. So, I mean, how much to read into that? I don't know. Tyleik Williams is going to be back for this team at some point. And they still wound up only giving up 14 points. The first 2 touchdowns they've allowed all year. Still pretty good in the grand scheme of things, but I guess that'll probably be a conversation that we have a lot as the non-conference slate comes to a close and Ohio State turns its attention now to going into the Big Ten, starting in East Lansing next week. So, a couple of those guys had a chance to make a play. They did, but Marshall scored early. They got another one right before halftime. Those 2 scores, a shutout in the second half. That'll go a little bit of ways for the Buckeyes, but probably not what they were thinking was going to be happening early on. We talked to my first quarter player of the game, which was Emeka Egbuka. Play was blocked up perfectly. Sort of another RPO look early on. So just took 42 seconds for Ohio State to respond and get their first touchdown of the game. They wound up winning this game by 5 touchdowns, 35 points. So it's sometimes hard to evaluate a game like this for Ohio State because, yes, the standards are incredibly high. They won comfortably against a team that we said was maybe another notch up in competition compared to Akron and then Western Michigan. But I think we could look at all 3 phases of the game and say that there were parts that Ohio State wanted to clean up. I think the interception there for Will Howard, his first of the year, right? His first turnover. I don't know if that ball should have been thrown. Looked like Jeremiah Smith was covered from the start of that play. And I know that he's trying to be more aggressive, that's the way Ohio State is coaching and teaching, that if you have one-on-one and you have Jeremiah Smith, you should take that chance more often than not. I don't know if there was more that Jeremiah Smith could have done on the route. I don't know if it was just a decision that Will Howard wants back. We'll get into that in the days ahead, but that didn't pan out the way Ohio State wanted. So that's that, and the fumble early in the year, game number 1, are just the only times I think that you could look. It's not going to make every decision perfect throughout the course of the year. I understand that, but for things to clean up, quarterback can't give the football away. Defensively, it's talked about the defensive tackles and some things that I think could get better. Really, maybe at all 3 levels from this game. Again, gave up just 14 points. You might look back and say it doesn't matter a lot, and Tyleik Williams is going to elevate it. But that brings me to the kicking game, which was, what's the word for it? Abysmal. 3 straight kickoffs out of bounds from Jaden Fielding. He gets benched. He didn't even get to take the extra points in the second half. I have never seen that happen before, and Ryan Day was quite upset about it, as I think he should be. The crowd in the Horseshoe voiced their displeasure for that as well. We make a big deal out of the special teams and Ryan Day being more involved and changing the responsibilities around for the staff, letting Parker Fleming go in the offseason. And then you have Brandon Ennis. He gets bailed out by a penalty, but he drops a punt. Looks like he was struggling to track it in the sun. That's what he was, trying to explain to Ryan Day. Got the mulligan, and then he's running and tracking it with his hand up, trying to block out the sun on the next one. I think probably just let it go. You're putting yourself in harm's way. I think the reason that we just keep talking about this is because it doesn't seem like the results are still there where Ohio State should expect and want and need them to be. And when the margins are fine in these championship games, you just cannot have those kinds of excuses. So I got that. I mean, it's in capital letters here. Kickoff out of bounds again. I couldn't believe what we were seeing. Special teams updates there. Quinshon Judkins, who had that sausage and pepperoni pizza, just looks incredibly explosive. And both he and Travion Henderson, take your pick there for the touchdowns that they scored. The stiff arms were, magical, devastating, punishing. These guys are running with great vision. They're running behind great blocking. There's great scheme. There's great energy. There's great buy-in from both of them. I'm struggling to describe it. When you have this caliber of 1-2 punch and Chip Kelly pulling the strings and doing a bunch of new stuff offensively, it is really fun to watch what they're doing and what this offense can become. So that we saw a bunch of some new looks, new wrinkles with misdirection. The stuff with Emeka Egbuka, for one. There was a tight end screen to Will Kazmarek at another point. It's just some stuff that, frankly, we haven't seen. Then in the third quarter, if we skip ahead to that, Ryan Day takes an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that Quinn Temple was supposed to help him avoid. I asked some people, what's the punishment for a coach in those situations? And I just tried to pass the buck off to Quinn Temple, but I do think that this is another example of Ryan Day's adjust an approach when he's not having to focus on the plays. So what happened there, 21 seconds on the clock as Ohio State makes a change in personnel. Marshall is allowed to match that. The officials stop the clock. They stand on the ball. They won't let Ohio State snap it. Ryan Day is going bonkers. The play clock expires. He's got to use the timeout. He said he did not use any profanity, that he may have raised his voice, and he went out to the numbers, but he did not think that it was worthy of a 15-yard penalty, which he got, and wound up really shutting down that drive. But we've seen him argue with officials before for some calls that were not maybe managed correctly or in the way that Ohio State wanted. But I think you're seeing some of this where Ryan Day is more emotionally maybe invested in the game at all times. And maybe that's not a great example because he was the offensive play caller before, so he would have been involved and upset no matter what in the past. But there were other periods in that third quarter I was watching him, and Ohio State, or Ryan Day, wanted the Rushman package on the field in a third down situation, which I don't remember ever seeing him involved in sub packages, personnel changes for the defense. He's always let those coaches manage that, but he was going like nuts. There were 2 examples I remember distinctly of watching him get involved with the defensive line and putting different guys on the field. Now, this has his attention in a way that it just hasn't before. And there's a long way to go. They've only played 3 games. We'll see what that means for him down the road. But I think that's really another sign of encouragement. And I know that there's other people involved around him that are noticing this as well, that like it's good for him. It's good for him to be taking that big picture perspective. Maybe you're going to have to keep the emotions in check slightly differently at times. But hey, that's the way it goes. It's better than just rolling over and accepting that, which I think he's fighting for everything that Ohio State's doing. What can you go with, Will?
Cheese. I think it's cheese.
Straight cheese?
Straight cheese.
Okay. Straight cheese for the quarterback. No toppings if you throw an interception. I guess those are the rules. Ohio State won 49-14. We're going to wrap up notebook number 3 of the season right there. It was a different one. Just trying to mix it up from time to time, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it turned out okay. And if not, there's going to be another one next week in East Lansing. Ohio State opening Big Ten play at Michigan State. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate Berm running the camera as always. Appreciate you for watching on the podcast and everything else that we did, because it's been a busy week and it was a hot one. Again, may have mentioned that. It was cooler for me in the press box than it was for Berm on the field. So kudos to Berm for everything he did, and kudos to the Buckeyes for another win. 49-14 over Marshall. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks for watching The Notebook. We'll see you next time on the podcast.